considering that you had scheduled, you had given initial direction that the House will be able to adjourn so that we can deal with the constitutional matter. These are very important matter on the planned action on this sessional paper number 3, and we'll be able to discuss it further. So I move and ask Honorable Ndindi Nyoro to second.
Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, give him the mic.
Mr. Speaker, I second.
Order, honorable members. Honorable Minority Whip, you seem to have had a good lunch. Honorable members, in accordance with the Standing Order 96 and the provisions therein, I beg to put the question that debate on the motion at order number 8 do now adjourn. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. That motion is consequently put in abeyance. It will be back on the order paper either tomorrow or Tuesday. We'll now move to the pre-publication debate on the constitutional bill proposed by the Honorable Mule and Honorable Kishimo. Clerk.
Statement on the legislative proposal to amend the Constitution under Standing Order 114(7)(a).
Honorable members, I did indicate to you yesterday the Honorable Junet, please have some order. I did indicate to the House the purport of this debate. It's a pre-publication debate. It has no vote at the end. All members who have issues have received representation from the member for Dagoretti South, for example, that he has an issue he wants to ride on to the proposed bill. Debate the statement, put your issues. We have in this House a drafts team from our draft section that will pick your ideas as you debate and eventually share with the proponents of the bill to see whether they can find a way into improving the bill. Those with ideas that you would want to share directly with the Honorable Mule and Kishimo, after your debate you can do so. It is thereafter that then the Speaker will decide whether the debate and the draft merit to be given a nod to be drafted as a constitutional amendment bill, or it dies after the debate. So as you debate, know that that is the direction we are going. I now invite the Honorable Mule to start off the debate. Thereafter, we'll have Honorable Kishimo to make his statement. After that, because of the enormous interest I see in this debate, I want your direction as to whether you want to debate for 5 minutes each or 10 minutes each. Yes. 3. 5 or 10? Okay, let's hear the members, then I'll give you direction. Honorable Mule.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity, and I want to thank all the members. For us, I and my colleague, Honorable Kishimo, for the support you gave us through your signatures to get where we are. Members, this is one of the moments whereby I know every member wants to be part and parcel of this. And I will give some insights, and then Honorable Kishimo will give us the roadmap on how we need to move from now so that we can get to the tail end and make sure that the National Government Constituency Development Fund and the rest funds we are proposing are completely within, and they have earned a place at the Constitution of Kenya. I want to remind members the journey for the former so-called CDF began in 1999 with Honorable Engineer Karue, whereby he had proposed, and it was not easy until sometimes later in the year 2000, when this House passed the act to make sure that we have constituency development fund. And because we have limited time, members, I want not to dwell on the history because all of you members, you know, but I want to look at a few social development achievement which will enable members and the public to give us an opportunity to get the national government of constituency fund, the national government affirmative action fund, the oversight fund for the Senate, and stimulus and economic and empowerment fund to the Constitution to make sure that we are creating a situation in the country whereby we know very well we have a total protection of the funds from this year until God will give us time to live in this world. Members, you need to understand that CDF, for the last 18 years, it has performed extremely well with key mandates and disbursement of close to 417.2 billion shillings to constituencies across the country. Consequently, the fund has increased from that figure to 1.3 billion in 2003, and by 2022-2023, the fund stands at 44.29 billion shillings. Members, I know you know exactly what CDF has done on the ground at the grassroots level, and I just want to put to the public and members in this house why we need to protect this fund and the other funds to make sure that we move forward and Kenyans and the future of this nation, and especially the constituency we develop, are completely safeguarded. Members, I want we move together and understand where we are coming from to make sure that we walk together this journey. It's not a simple journey, but I know at the end of the tail end, we'll manage to convince members and will be 290 members in this house to make sure that we attain the two-thirds rule so that we can be able, two-thirds to be able to enact this constitutional amendment. Members, for the last 5 years, CDF in Kenya, or National Government Constituency Development Fund, has disbursed 57 billion shillings in terms of bursaries, which has benefited 6 million students in the Kenyan Republic. Members, it's for you to chair this so that we go with the public. The public out there are watching. Secondly, members, National Government Constituency Development Fund has constructed for the last 5 years 24,020 classrooms in different parts of this country to contribute to the education sector. We have also managed to finance and construct 1,156 dormitories, whereby they are occupying a capacity of 138,732 students. We have also been able to construct in different constituencies 3,288 administration blocks in various schools both primary and secondary. In most of the secondary school, we have been able to finance and construct 131 libraries, which are making enormous changes within our secondary schools for learning for students. Members, to make sure that there is proper sanitation in primary school and secondary school, for the last 5 years, National Government Constituency Development Fund, 19,400 sanitary better toilets for our kids in this country. Members, in the same period, National Government Constituency Development Fund also has purchased 961 new buses to ferry our students to various areas. Members, in the same line of education, Constituency Development Fund was able to enable members start at least 833. We have been able to construct 876 staff houses within various schools across the country. In partnership with KMTC, or Kenya Medical Training Campus, we have been able to assist KMTC across the country to do 190 lecture halls and 67 administration blocks within the campuses. Members, you know very well, quite a number of members have been able to partner up with the government to put up TTIs, Treasury Technical Institute, in various constituencies, and at the same time we have been able to do 10 lecture halls in those TTIs and 71 administration blocks. In the last 5 years, members, as members of parliament, you are able to allocate at least 57 billion shillings to bursaries to make sure that we keep students in school. As you are aware, members, at this moment, I know every member in this house is under pressure from the public and the community and the constituency we represent to make sure that students are in school and they are in safe hands. Mr. Speaker, in the security sector, this fund has been able to give us an opportunity to create national government administration offices totaling to 193, assistant chiefs and chiefs offices totaling to 2,102, police posts for security in our constituencies totaling to 1,091, new police staff houses 350, and new facilities within. Mr. Speaker, and I want to inform this House, this is one fund whereby it has elevated students who have not been able to understand they will make to the end through education. We should be proud as a House, and I want to announce to you that National Constituency Development Fund funded to completion of 8 commercial pilots who are flying high-end aircrafts in the country and in the world using CDF. What else are we looking for? I spoke with one of the pilots the other day, members, and this is a very fascinating story. And this pilot is willing to come and give testimony from Form 4 all the way to become a commercial pilot of Boeing 787. He has been enabled that by CDF. Members, this fund, it is a fund which has earned itself a place in the Constitution. And why we had to sit down and discuss quite in length with members, with my colleague, is to see we stop the people and the busybodies who are trying to kill the noble ideas which had been started by our colleague, Honorable Engineer Karue. Members, I want to say this so that I can give Honorable Kishimo to give us the roadmap and we allow members to ventilate. This is a journey we are not relenting whatever comes. This is a journey we'll walk as members from both sides of divine to make sure that we safeguard this idea which will develop this country to the next level. Members, I know we are also carrying on board the national government affirmative action, which is taking care of the opportunities to our women reps in this house. We are also thinking outside the box to make sure that the senators have a fund which they can use to make sure that they oversight the counties. We stop the menace of corruption and looting of county monies from the counties through rogue administrations within the counties. And lastly, we are also looking forward whereby we have economic stimulants and empowerment fund which will take care of the women, the men. And when I say the men, some people are looking at me as a man. There are quite a number of men out there who need support from government, who need to be empowered to deal with the girl child, who need to be empowered to make sure that they complement the girl child when they marry, they are at the same level. Members, the same empowerment fund will carry along board people living with disability in this country, and we make sure that people living in disability in this country, they feel that they are part and parcel of the economic power in Kenya, and they can have a stake at economic building in this country. So, members, I want to urge you, as we debate today, we and my colleague, we want to hear your views, how we can improve on this, so that we can get into the second stage. And I can assure you, we are ready and we are equal to the task to amend the Constitution through parliamentary initiative without spending a single penny from the public, through this House. Through this House. And that is the power we have been given by the public when they elected us in August. We must change the way things are done in this country. We must put the authority and the power we have been given by the people to make sure that we safeguard them. Mr. Speaker, I want to rest my case there and request my colleague, Honorable Kishimo, who we are ready to walk to this journey. I know it will not be a walk in the park. It is going to be ups and downs, but we are ready to make sure that we safeguard all these funds and make sure that Kenyans have value for money at the end and for the future, and forget about the busybodies who think members of parliament are part and parcel of the committees. And I know Honorable Kishimo will give you how the funds are structured and how will. Members, the last thing I want to say, after we enact and entrench all those funds in the Constitution, you will have the opportunity to enact new acts through this House, whereby you will never require the two-thirds majority. You will require the majority of the House to make sure that we have the new NGDF Act, probably of 2022, 2023, 2024. We'll have a new act for NGCF. We'll have a new act to deal with the issue of the Senate. We'll have a new act to deal with the Economic Empowerment Fund. So I know there are so many members who have a lot of questions. We are free, we are available. And Mr. Speaker, yesterday evening, we had the opportunity to meet with members from the county assemblies drawn from the entire country, representative. They gave us their views, we advised them very well, and we want to carry everybody who is speaking about development to Wanjiku, to Maina, to Mutua in this country, together in this bill. Members, I urge you, let's move together for better Kenya. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, the Honorable Mule. Honorable Gishimu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity to give my exposition on the statement on the legislative proposal to amend the Constitution. And Honorable Speaker, before I start, let me thank you for having facilitated through the office of the clerk for us to be able to reach at this level within a record 1 month. And let me also thank members of this House for overwhelmingly supporting the legislative proposal, which only required 50 members to sign. But the last time I saw the list of the signatories, members had already reached over 300. That is very, very appreciated. And that means that actually we are in this game together. It's only that we are just taking the lead with Honorable Mule, but I know this is a matter that is at heart of each and every member. Allow me, Honorable Speaker, to take members through the legal and constitutional framework surrounding these amendments. Honorable Speaker, Articles 255, 256, and 257 usually give the procedure and the instances in which the Constitution can be amended through a parliamentary initiative or a popular initiative. In the present case, Mr. Speaker, we are talking about the parliamentary initiative. And members, according to the Constitution, Parliament can amend any part of the Constitution, but the procedures for amendments through a parliamentary initiative is usually two-pronged. One, whereby you amend the Constitution and you end up to the referendum. The other roadmap, you may amend the Constitution and you don't need to go through the referendum. And that is what I wanted to enlighten all to enlighten members on. Under Article 256, where Article 256 grants Parliament, both levels of Parliament, that is the National Assembly and the Senate, either houses of Parliament can initiate a constitutional amendment. And we have initiated one in this House. And after the publication of the bill, the House or the bill will be read for the first time in this House, and it will require that we have a whole 90 days for the public to weigh in, for public participation, before the matter is reintroduced back to the Parliament for the second reading. And in both instances, that is the second reading and third reading, the threshold to pass a bill to amend the Constitution is 2/3 majority in both houses. If both houses pass the bill, then the two speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate will pass the bill to the President for assent with a certificate. However, the President will not assent to the bill if it touches on the matters that are enumerated under Article 255(1), which, if the bill touches on the matters of Bill of Rights, the sovereignty, the supremacy of the Constitution, independence of the judiciary, and commissions and independent offices, and other matters that are enumerated there. In that instance, that bill will stand committed to the IBC by the President for them to give an approval for his assent. And that approval will not come until the matter is taken for a referendum. And the requirement in that referendum is that at least 25% of the registered voters in more than half, in half of the counties shall have voted with a majority of the members giving a nod to the bill. That is when the President will, the IBC will give a certificate, and the President will then assent to the bill and have it published. However, in our case, we have tried to avoid that route, because we have avoided to touch on all the matters that are enumerated under Article 255(1), whereby we are not touching on any one of them. So our case is that this matter will end up with both houses of Parliament. Then both speakers of Parliament, should we reach the requisite 2/3 majority, will present the bill to the President for assent. And Mr. Speaker, on the matter, on the roadmap that is provided under the standing orders, as you've already guided this House, today we are not debating this bill for any vote or for any resolution. We are just giving the House an opportunity to give general comments, which will be later be collated and taken into account by the committee that will be given the responsibility to take this matter forward, which your Honorable Speaker has already given, that NGCDF committee will be steering further discussions in the matter. Honorable Speaker, and for the interest of the members, towards the tail end of the 12th Parliament, the Procedure and House Business, House Rules Committee, which is under the leadership of the Speaker, presented to this House the amendments to the standing orders, and that is how standing order number 114.7A was introduced in this House, because of the importance of constitutional amendments. The roadmap towards an amendment of the Constitution was given preference in that amendment. And one of the areas, or actually the first step, is to have a legislative proposal, which we've already have before this House. The Speaker has already allowed members to make, or the sponsors to make statements, which we are already making, so that members can weigh in and give their general comments. Then after this, these comments of the members, there will be a facilitation for collation of these comments. And that is why we are urging members, kindly, if you can give your views as to how we can be able to enrich these amendments, that will be the best thing, because they will be picked by the committee that will take over the matter from here and be able to guide the House ahead. Then after the collation of the comments, the committee will also give members another opportunity to appear before it.